Welcome to Relics Radio, your favorite weekly podcast dedicated to the metal detecting and treasure hunting community. Here are your hosts, Ken from Adventures in Dirt and Tony from 5280 Adventures.
Hey, welcome to another Relics Radio here Thursday night. Well, I'm sitting here in Colorado. You know, I'm enjoying. We've had some great weather, and I can't wait to talk to our guest tonight. And I can't wait to talk to my co-host. Boy, we've been doing a lot of digging lately, and we got a lot to talk about. Tony, how are you, man?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing great.
Yeah,
Doing great.
yeah.
The weather's been amazing. I love it when the weather starts getting nice.
You know what? It only grows that itch even more. I tell you. And I mean, you and I both. I mean, we live and die by this stuff, right? Can you imagine increasing that and up in the level there? I mean, gee, it's been an absolutely gorgeous week.
I just got to be able to keep my job because I know the itch is going to be like, well, you know, you could take a few more days off and go hit the dirt a little bit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
How have you been, man? It's been a week. We got out last week, and then
we did. We actually did something a little bit different than we don't normally do. We went out without a plan, kind of
freestyle.
We did not. Yeah, freestyling. We had no permission set up, and went door knocking and just, kind of targeting a specific town, knowing what the history was of the town, of where the older houses were, and just door knocking. Right.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun, you know, because we haven't done that in a long time. Tony and I do a lot of research, and our new sort of crew we hooked up with up north here in Northern Colorado, they do a lot of research too. They're like nerds like us when it comes to research. And so usually have permissions when we head out ahead of time. You know what I mean? We always have, you know, authorized permissions that we're going to go target, and we go out, and very rarely do we just go door knocking. And Tony's right. We targeted a certain area that had a certain age of homes, and it was cool. There was 3 of us out there, and you know, I think at one point we were each knocking on separate doors, and we were just working the street. And
we did.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a little bit of learning because, like you said, it's a new crew kind of together, and sometimes you just got to do this, right? I mean, how else? Yeah, are you going to get those permissions that nobody's been on before? It's not hunted out like public parks, and find a hot spot, right? You're going to find a hot yard that you're just going to dominate on. And we had a good time. I think we did pretty well with yeses and permissions. I think we went, we go like 3 for 4?
Some are 4 for 5. Yeah.
4 for 5, something like that.
I think the only no we got was that
one lady.
The one lady. Yeah.
Right. So we did pretty well. I'll call that a success. And, we didn't find anything monumental. No. But it was still fun to get out, and you know what? Mark those houses off the list.
That's right.
And we'll keep on moving. Right.
It's always the case, right? You know what's cool about it is, and that always happens this way too. It seems like we got towards the end of the day, and we were at one permission. We weren't finding stuff. There's a lot of junk. It was a really trashy site. So all of us were changing our settings, trying to get through all the trash. There was, no chance of gold or anything like that. So we were trying to get down through all that stuff. And Tony sees this house next door that didn't look as junky. So he goes over there and comes back. He's like, hey guys, I got us permission next door. And we went over there and we started popping some of the more interesting items from the day. I mean, there was tons of targets, and everything seemed like it was at least interesting. Mm-hmm. Instead of just a piece of junk or trash. What is this? A lot of what is it? You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, look at that. That's definitely old. Yeah. What do you think it was from? So we like fun.
It was fun.
Like that. Yeah.
It was a good time. Really good time to get out in the good weather. Soil was great. It was a good time. Just a little bit something different. So can't beat that.
Absolutely. Who do you see joining us here? I want to welcome you too. If you're welcome us here on the live show, or even if you're listening on the replay, you got to come over and check us out live sometime. You can see us over on the 5280 Adventures YouTube channel. That's Tony's YouTube channel. You can catch us on the Relics Radio Facebook group. We broadcast live right there at the same time. And we just simulcast over on my personal Facebook page, or sometimes you'll see us over there on the Adventures in Dirt Facebook page, or even over on the 5280 Adventures Facebook page. So 2 sites all the time, Relics Radio and the YouTube channel, Tony's YouTube channel. And then that third one that we can broadcast to, we kind of push that around from place to place. So, but yeah, we'd like to see you over here live, but if not, we'll still be putting the audio on the podcast replay. So you can find it anywhere you download podcasts. You can find Relics Radio. Who do you see joining us, man?
What's really cool is on YouTube, you can, because the show is scheduled, you can actually get in beforehand and make comments and stuff. So we had a number of people that were over on my YouTube channel already making comments. So we had Teresa the Treasure Hunter.
Yeah.
Teresa, she was on the show a couple weeks ago, right?
She was. That was fun. She was with a whole group. Boy,
Yeah,
we had
that was
so
a
many
great
people
show.
with us.
Yeah, great show. Mr. Bill Hayes visiting over on YouTube.
Hello, Bill.
David Rose, Full Metal Digger. Good to see you, David.
Hey, Jim.
Let's see. Get That
Dave?
Treasure. Good to see you. And then we got some people chiming in on Facebook, and I think Ken just posted over there. You guys got to make sure that you allow Facebook to transmit over your picture and your name over to us so we can see it. But I see Tim Henderson's over there. DF Digger is over there. Adventures with Johnny. Adventures with Johnny says, looking forward to hearing Brandon Sutton.
Yeah, me too.
Man, I just let out the cat out of the bag who our guest is.
Oh, man. You always do that.
We better bring him on.
We better bring him on. Now we let the cat out of the bag. Hey, there he is. Brandon, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. Hey, first off, I'm just very jealous of the disco ball or whatever you have going on. Tony, why do you not have one? And I should have one too, because it could really be a party. So,
it could be.
We could have a huge party going on.
Yes.
I had to spruce this up somehow, man. I gotta get some flashing lights going or something.
Right.
My wife just comes in, looks in the I'm in the basement. I'm in a basement studio, and she just comes in, looks in, just shakes her head and walks away. Oh, love you, honey.
So yeah, it's an honor to be on with you guys.
Thanks, man. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a while since you were on. I think last time we had you on, we were talking about that amazing find you found with all those Civil War relics and in that clay that you pulled those out of. That's still, to me, that's still one of my favorite finds.
Yeah.
Probably of all things seen on video metal detecting.
Yeah. Yeah. That was something that, like, so it's hard for me to watch myself on video just because I don't know. I just don't like, I don't know. Things I say, the way I react, I'm just like, I don't like to watch it. But however, I am very glad that I filmed that day, and it's something I can pass on to my son and then just share, with people in general in the future. And so it's yeah, I'll never forget that.
I'll tell you what, you mind if I show them some pictures? I got a picture pulled up, and if I share my screen, you can kind of talk about it. And you know what I'm interested in is because this was just amazing that you found these in this condition, that these are this well preserved. And maybe you can let us know where they stand these days. I don't know how much of that you can share, but
sure,
we'd love to know, give, an update on that. So let me go over here and share this thing. So check this out. If you don't know what we're talking about and you've never seen this, you should go definitely check it out. But yeah, look at that, Tony.
That's unbelievable. So Brandon, I mean, do us a favor here. I mean, we're seeing it firsthand on video, but there are people listening. Describe what we're looking at, and then just give us a little bit of a quick backstory as to what the situation was with this.
Okay, so I'll do my best. So basically, after the Battle of Jenkins Ferry that took place in South Central Arkansas, so the Union Army retreated from the battlefield. And they were thinking that the Confederates were on their tail, and so along the way they were discarding things. So miles from the battlefield, even all the way through Little Rock on the military road, they were discarding things. So it just so happened to be that there was this swampy area far away from the battlefield where excuse me, I had found some things that they had obviously discarded. And so like the belt buckle was actually in the bayonet. You see the frog, or what's called the frog, right below the bayonet there, was actually stuffed inside of that. So I get all these comments and all these things like, oh, it was a soldier that died and fell in a creek. So here's the deal. So there was 30,000 soldiers marching with that guy. Obviously his belt broke. He was worn out. He had no food. He was ready to get to the Little Rock. And so he just tossed his stuff in the creek because they realized at that point that the Confederates weren't on their tail, I guess. And so all these things, were there and very well preserved. And I get a lot of comments about, oh, it's reenactors, accoutrements or whatever. But the thing is so the little ammo case there on the, I believe it's an ammo case there on the bottom right-hand corner. It actually has stamped on the back of it. Yes. I think it's St. Louis Arsenal or whatever. So I've done some research on that. So they actually created or made 10,000 sets or plus 10,000 plus sets of accoutrements for soldiers. And so it's absolutely not a reenactor's, piece.
It doesn't say made in.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It doesn't say made in China on the back of that one.
No, well, no, it doesn't. No,
it's
not
real.
Not at all. No, but also in that same, so that's not in the picture, but I found, okay, I may get hounded for this, but it's a fact that 3 of the rarest known Confederate artillery shells of this certain size that were captured by the Union Army for different battles, well, actually from the Battle of Prairie du Chien, Southwest Arkansas. So the Union Army were taking these back to Little Rock to have them try to figure out what they were. And so all 3 were discarded in this area where I found these things, and I found all 3 of them. And they're the only size of that Confederate Marshall Reed shell known to exist.
Yeah, when you pulled it up out of the water, that at least the one that was in this video, oh my gosh, that was so exciting.
Yes, and I have my friend Megs Brainerd there with me. We've got some awesome stuff planned, but he knows so much and is so well educated on the Trans-Mississippi and Confederate, anything Confederate or anything Civil War. But he is guided me. But I'm so glad that he was with me that day. Yeah. He knew exactly what I pulled out of the water. So anyway.
And you know what it is? It lent credibility. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of people would be like, "Oh man, whatever." You always have the naysayers, but he lent a lot of credibility. I remember I was talking with Matt Howell about it. And he goes, "Yeah, man, that guy is the man." You know what I mean? Like he is
my mentor. 100%. I love him. He's like my second dad, and my second. I mean, just. I don't want to say that, and like he's that old, but I'm just saying, like he's one of my best friends. Like he's a wonderful mentor for sure.
That was just an amazing find. I'll go ahead and stop sharing that. It was great. What condition are they in these days? Did you get them preserved?
Yes. So, and so one of the gentlemen that helped me kind of ID them is Dr. Bill Gurley. So he's like, I don't want to give the wrong term, but like the head of not chemist, but like pharmaceutical doctor or whatever at Oxford, which is a great friend. He's a great friend of mine and Meg's. So he identified the shells, and I've also showed them to gentlemen that know more about artillery shells than anybody else. I've taken them to Richmond and this and that. So anyways, so I've given those shells to Dr. Gurley just because of, so he has those things now. And as far as the leather goods, I've given those to Meg's just because I still have a few pieces. And like we talked, in the past, we did the podcast that smells brand new. So they were preserved in propylene glycol for a couple of months, and they have to be treated with mink oil and different things every now and then. But Meg's has all the all the leather and the box plate and belt buckle because I wanted him to have them just because he has a lot of wonderful Arkansas Civil War history, and I just felt like I needed to give them to him. So they're in good possession.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for covering that. We had a comment from Full Metal Digger says, I'd like to hear what, if any, special treatment Brandon had to use to help preserve the leather after he dug them. So, thanks for talking about that.
So
that's a good question out there from Full Metal Digger.
Yeah. So any leather that's found, propylene glycol is number one. It needs to be soaked in that for, maybe a couple of months. And then after that, it may have to be soaked again, but mink oil over a period of time, because it'll start to dry out and it'll shrink and it won't be the same.
Yeah.
Great
Very
job.
cool. Very cool. But you've been finding a lot. I mean, that was a while ago, man. That was what? How many years ago was that now? It's been a while.
Oh my! I've had so much going on. I can't even tell you. No. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're in Arkansas, right? You're in Arkansas,
Yes.
and do you mainly hunt in Arkansas, or do you try to travel and get around?
I do. It's tough because of my job. I mean, I have a construction business where I remodel historic homes and businesses around here. But on my time off, when I can, I do travel. But yes, mainly I focus my time here in Arkansas, trying to discover Arkansas history. But that's gonna change. That's gonna change very soon.
That's great.
Yeah. You're going to do some traveling. I wanted to talk to you
that.
about that construction company that you say you do some remodeling, because one of the things that's been cool to watch appear on your Facebook page, and Tony's going to put the link to the Facebook page down in the chat. It'll also be right down below in the description of this podcast. But sometimes you get on some historical places that have you come in and do some remodeling, or and you've discovered some pretty cool old relics and historic relics in some of the places. Can you think of some of the more memorable? You've posted a lot.
Yes. Well, so So I mean, I guess one of the coolest things would be so I posted a picture of like the fire extinguisher from the early 1900s that I found. And I was actually telling somebody yesterday, like I was recording it and I had to I stopped recording it because I was so overwhelmed. Like I started crying just because it's just, I get so excited when I find things like this. I'm like, how in the world, am I, which I know the reason why, but it's just like, but yeah, so that's one of the greatest things I found. So a movie theater.
Yeah, I saw
that. I rediscovered, which was I had a news segment on, and I found, and actually Riley, Relic Riley. Hey Riley, if you're watching, if not, whatever, we're not friends anymore. But yeah, so I invited him over once I discovered it, because I know he loves all that stuff. So we went under the floor of this little projection room and found all this cool stuff. And so really that's probably the coolest things that I've discovered. I mean, there's other things too, but those are two of the most like notable finds.
I saw this picture over on your page about showing this old reel and these old these old canister boxes and stuff. Is that the place where you said you found it?
Yeah, well, so that was actually after I discovered the things that I had posted on initially and did the news segment on. I went back upstairs and I keep finding things still, because I'm sort of working on the same building. But yeah, so I found those things after I found this box and I was like, what is in there? So I opened it up and all of a sudden there's like this reel with these little notes in it. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
So it's like,
incredible.
It's like, I don't know. It's so, yeah.
Who was it, Tony? Full Metal Digger said, what did he say? He said, remodel historic homes What a horrible job for a detectorist to
Oh, I
have.
know.
Right?
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's awful. Oh, and by the way, like, so one of my best friends who I've done some remodeling with, his name is Joe Tollett. So he just bought a house in downtown Little Rock, which is right in like the most historic part of downtown Little Rock. It was built in the 1840s maybe, or whatever. He's like, hey, I'm about to redo this house. We're going to live in it. I know where the privy's at. We're going to tear everything out of the walls. And I'm just sitting there going,
Yeah.
hey, you just tell me when, I'll be there.
When
But
and
yeah,
where.
it's just stuff like that, you know. It's just the opportunities that I've.
It's a great.
It would take a full day for us to talk about it. What I have lined up, but it's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
it really
That's
is.
awesome.
That is great, man. Because as a detectorist, I mean, that's what you want, right? You want that sort of.
Yes.
Yeah. Who else do we have on? We had somebody on that was he was like a surveyor. You know, so he'd go out to these old farm properties and locate their property pins and all kinds of stuff and survey their land. And then, of course, get permission from them to go hunt the home sites that were on their land hundreds of years ago. So I thought that was a good, nice accompanying, profession to have as well, you know?
Exactly. Well, just to kind of touch on that. So, so a friend of mine has some property just right by my house, which I found some amazing Native American artifacts too. Like, anyways, I used to take my daughter Molly hunting on this area right on the Sling River, close to where I'm at. And one day after I got done hunting, I was like, so I did a couple of test holes and I started finding a bunch of flint and all this stuff. I was like, man, this could be a good site. Anyway, so I talked to this guy recently and I was like, hey, do you mind if I come out and check this property out? He's like, oh man, come out. Yeah, anytime. And so I go out and do some more test holes and I start finding it's going to be insane what we're going to find there. But anyways, so anyway, we'll talk more about that in a little while. But
nice.
We were talking earlier, Tony and I, before we had you on. Tony and I went out to this site called Julesburg. It was a Battle of Julesburg here in Colorado, and we helped an archaeologist kind of locate items. Me and our club did, a certain section of our club. Anyways, we found a lot of Gallagher rounds.
Yes.
And I recently saw that on your page, you recently found a giant clump plus some of some Gallagher rounds.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me about that? Why don't you explain to people what Gallagher rounds are?
Yeah, well, so from what I understand, soldiers. So I'm no expert. I can't retain a lot of information about history and all that stuff, just because my mind it's all over the place all the time. But so along the military road, close to Little Rock, I was detecting. I was hunting with the Garrett AT Max, and I got like a single mini ball signal. Just a single signal. I thought, okay, it's going to be a mini ball. That's fine. I love finding mini balls. Let's dig it. Okay. So little did I know I was going to have to keep digging. And then next thing I know, I started finding little pieces of brass and chunks of lead. And I'm like, and my friend Joey McCann was with me. And I was like, Joey, there's a bunch. I don't know what this is, but there's a lot of stuff in here. And I had no idea what they were. Like this, I mean, I wasn't familiar with Civil War artillery and ammunition and all that stuff that much. So, yeah, we ended up finding nearly 500, nearly 2 feet deep, 500 different, 415 Gallaghers, mini balls, teardrops, pin fires, 11 millimeter pin fires, and then mini fused.
Oh, hey.
Wow.
Did you see that? Like this is an example of a fused Gallagher that's broken off. I mean, there's another piece that's broken off here, but you can see there's paper inside here, and you can see a little bit of the gunpowder, and of course there's a freeze crack right here, and so when
So
the ground froze.
describe what a Gallagher round looks like there. The casing or what it's holding, at least.
So basically, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to mislead anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert. I believe it's either a 54, 57, 58. I'm not sure. Like I said, I can't remember. So basically, this is so hard to do in reverse.
It is, yeah.
Okay. So the actual bullet, I guess you would say, and then it is, of course, is lead, and this is the brass cartridge, and in the bottom right here there's a small hole, and it would have been filled with wax. For whatever reason, I'm not sure. I guess to protect the gunpowder from getting wet or whatever. And but so some of the cartridges that I found, they still had wax. Believe it or not, like a bunch of them. It's just amazing.
And the bottom of that is not like a flat rimfire type of look to it. It's actually it almost tapers down a little bit and is rounded. It's definitely a unique looking
2-liter bottle. And
yeah, there you go.
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, so it kind of like dips in the bottom, and you have this small hole where the wax is in. Yeah. So I had no idea what we were finding, and so this was before I started filming things and really taking pictures and all that stuff. And I totally wish I would have filmed it. But like my buddy Joey can, he can confirm all this, of course. But yeah, we do have a couple of pictures of me with shovel loads of like just tons of bullets, and I have pictures like of my tailgate full of, and also found a Hotchkiss. That's a tough one to say.
Hotchkiss shell, yeah, it is. Boy, that's tough.
Yeah. The same day, but many other things: curry combs, horseshoes. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
What a great site!
What a great site! Jackpot.
Oh, and there's more.
Gosh.
I'm sure you guys have no idea. It's.
I mean, when we find a single teardrop, we're like, woohoo! Right?
Oh yeah.
Especially here in Colorado, we're like, woo!
I found three teardrops. It's one of my favorite rounds. It's so beautiful the way, and I've only been able to find 3 of them. Gorgeous round.
And I got to tell you the story of my Gallagher story, because I love telling it. So we were doing this battlefield, this Native American battlefield site here called Julesburg. And I guess there was a fort nearby called Fort Sedgwick, later Fort Rankin, and that the Iowa 7th was there, and they all used Gallagher carbines. And the story from back then was that soldiers hated to use those Gallagher carbines because those cartridge designs were faulty. They would heat up and they would explode in the breech. And so, I mean, can you imagine if you were in a desperate situation to defend your life and you have one of these cartridges blow up on it, and you got to take the time to clear it. So they would throw their ammunition away. They would get rid of it to try to get a new weapon so that they could use a different way, like a Sharps or something like that. Right.
Yes.
And that was the story went around it. Well, when we were out there detecting this site, we didn't know this story at the time. It was only discovering one of these cartridge rounds that led me into this story. But we were finding tons of square nails in this site and a lot of fired munitions. And he was having us flag, document, GPS mark everything, because they never really knew where the town site was. But since the Native Americans burned it all down, all the pattern of the square nails showed the outline of the buildings and where they were located, kind of their orientation and their size. So it was amazing. We directly contributed to history, the knowledge of history. Now I found a Gallagher carbine cartridge that was all blown apart. And so of course my mind's like, okay, it was right next to a square nail. So in my mind, I see some soldier from the Iowa 7th posted up on this building defending the townsfolk and has one of these misfires and clears the exploded cartridge, probably pretty scared, you know what I mean? And it just, to me, that's like such a cool find, because then it led me into learning that history and that story about the Gallagher carbine.
Yes.
Great story.
Well, right. Well, and so obviously, so I always talk about the Battle of Jenkins Ferry because I have access to parts of the battlefield and totally legal and all that stuff and written permission. Anyways, so, but not once have I ever found a fired Gallagher bullet or a cartridge or any other piece of. So that tells me when I found those 415 that obviously they were used. They were not used or utilized for a reason. And so, but yeah, that absolutely.
Yeah. Such an amazing find, man. With that and
over on
the,
YouTube.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Over on YouTube, Buckle Boy Metal Titan says, "Yep, they were extremely unpopular during the Civil War." And then he followed up and said, "Also, the cartridges were hell to extract." So, yeah.
Yeah,
what a great story about that cartridge, though. I mean, who would you have ever thought that we're going to sit here and talk for, I don't know, 10 minutes about a single cartridge back 160 years ago? Bunch of dorks sitting here talking about this stuff. I tell you.
Hey, now.
Hey.
Except for you. I just insulted our guest.
Everyone but Brandon.
I promise you. We're in the same boat.
Oh, shoot. What are you swinging these days, Brandon?
Yeah.
I am swinging the Garrett AT Max.
Max.
That is my go-to. And listen, there are other great machines out there, but yes, I am the Garrett AT Max to me is it's my go-to machine. It's the only machine. I've used the Deus. I've used a few others, but I mean, I do some water hunting, but anyways, I know that machine well, and I found incredible things with it, and so it is what it is.
Did you come up from the Pro?
Yes. So I started out with the Pro, and I love the tones that the AT Max has, and it just seems to me like it just performs better. It just does.
Yeah.
And plus it's waterproof,
Yeah, so. There you go. I heard a lot of people when they switched from the Pro to the Max really had to get used to those tones and it's a little different of a performing machine as far as what you hear.
Yes.
But I've heard that a lot. The people that got used to that and mastered that really took to it and really, really enjoy it. So
right. Yes, absolutely.
That's cool. And I see also you've been out digging with some fellow friends. I mean, you mentioned Riley, but I thought I saw some pictures you out with Brandon and who else you been out digging with? Man, you get around. When are you going to come out to Colorado and dig with Ken and Tony?
Hey, listen, I don't know about that. That's I'll make it a point soon, hopefully.
There you go.
Yeah, look for some gold and who knows what else. Yeah, so Riley, for sure, and we have some stuff coming up soon. It's going to be wild. Yeah, so I've been out with let's see. Oh gosh, it's way past my bedtime.
Yeah, it is. I know we're keeping you up late.
Yeah.
Did you do some bottle digging with Brandon?
Yeah. Well, so I haven't done any digging with him, bottle digging with him. I've dug with some friends in the same spots that he's done some digging in the past. But he and I have some stuff lined up in the future. But like Jake Allman, I've dug with him. Tyler McGee. Right off the top of my head, I can't think of their endless search. I can't think of all their social media names. Forgive me, please. But it's mainly Meg's Brainerd, but Riley has been the main one. And I've got some stuff like Murray Crow and I, which he's on, Duck Family Treasure. We have some things kind of in the works and things like that. But other than that, I've been so busy with work, I haven't had time to get out much.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
So that's going to change soon just because of some of the opportunities that I have coming up. And so, it's going to be amazing.
That's good. That's good to hear. I know I'm always saying darned work.
Yeah.
But I guess we gotta do
I know.
it.
Work's cutting into my retirement. I tell you what.
It is. Shoot.
Yeah, you had mentioned that you were digging with Riley. Did you find? I think I'd seen something about a horse bridle bit boss. Something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
yeah. So
Yeah.
What is
so
that?
he and I were digging in Mississippi, in the vicinity of Vicksburg, and with Michael Bennett, Nugget Noggin, and a couple other friends. But yes, so yes, I did find a US bit boss, which was the only one I had, and it was on my birthday, by the way.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
right.
it was a great. My
Happy
wife
birthday.
allowed me, thank goodness, to go on my birthday. Bless her heart, she's awesome. But yeah, to let me go on my birthday and go get out and dig. But yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Yes,
That's on my bucket list. I want to
Yeah.
find one of those.
You know what
Yeah,
else?
And we have a lot of cavalry activity out here, and I just can't understand why I haven't found that or a spur for the amount of cavalry activity that we've had out west. You know, I post videos and pictures and comments and things like that. People all the way around continue to say this over and over. You're going to find a bit bush. You're going to find. How have you not found a spur yet? I mean, they're out here.
Right. We just got to keep after it, my friend.
Oof.
We'll find it. We'll find it.
yeah. Hey, you guys need to come to Arkansas, okay? And look. Here's the deal. So, I put a lot of stuff on social media, and I get messages all the time. Hey, I'd love to go digging with you, and we know it's tough because we can't take everybody. So, I can only take a select amount of friends and different things like that. But, anyways, maybe we can work something out. If you guys come this way, we can get out and swing around sometime.
Yeah,
So
that'd be awesome, man.
Oh my gosh.
You know
great.
You know what I want to ask you about? I want to ask you about this.
okay.
Let me share it.
Here we go.
What is this?
Oh,
What
yes.
is that, Brandon?
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So here's the crazy thing. I didn't know until I found this several years ago. I put it on ID me, and I was like, they were spouting out all this stuff and like, and one guy posted a picture of the same thing that I found, but like in beautiful condition. And I was like, I totally wish somebody could figure this out seriously, because anyway, so I found it. So at the Battle of Jenkins Ferry, they launched pontoon bridges, so the Union Army could cross over the river, the Saline River, and they destroyed it so the Confederates couldn't cross the river. So north of that, they discarded, but also in the river too, some of the pontoon parts, which I found a group of those pontoon parts. And so so for instance, and we don't have a picture of it here, my friend Max does, but like the billow that would blow the pontoons up, all the little brass pins that would go in the billow where you would blow it up or whatever. I found all those, some valve parts, and this was along a creek, like several miles north of that anyways, but that was with it. And I thought that was part of the pontoon bridge because it had a Navy anchor on it. I'm thinking water pontoon, like that has to be part of it. So I thought that forever. And so just the other day, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it on Google image search or whatever, and I'm going to try to figure this out. Long story short, one of these photos pops up thanks to Google, and then I'm like, that's it. And so I start reading about it, and I'm like, what in the world is a sailor's palm doing there? But and who knows how I don't know. I don't know the history of how they would have ended up with it. But obviously they would have used it as kind of like a sewing needle, like when they were punching leather or canvas.
Big heavy material, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but it's wild. Yeah, absolutely.
It's cool. And so odd items like that, man, always interest us. And when you can figure it out and get an ID on it, like there's nothing better than that. That's really cool, man.
You can barely make out now that you have the example below it. You can barely make out that the anchor, so you can kind of see it all. Absolutely makes sense now. You just needed that one little piece of information to really turn it on to you. So
Well,
Copper Joe
well,
says, look
if
like
people
turquoise
look,
jewelry.
Yeah.
if people look at the post, some guy commented today or this afternoon a picture of an awesome example that he found. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe like you somebody ID'd this. Thank you, because but it took me forever. Like I gave up on it, and finally I was like,
what a
try
cool
again."
piece.
That is a cool piece.
What a cool piece. Never seen one of those before.
Nope, never heard of it. But those are the finds I like. We've got to keep learning, fellas. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
and now you know what you need. At least you know what it's called, and then next would be figure out how they used it. You know what I mean? That'd be cool.
Exactly.
Very, very cool. Who else we got in the chat? JP Hunt's in the house. How you doing there, JP? Good to see you. Buckle Boy, of course. Who else did I see in here? Jeffrey Harris coming in to say hello. Copper Joe, of course. Ski Searcher, Matt, absolutely. Nice. Hey, Matt, I think we got some of our digging partners here from Colorado is out his way and may be able to hook up with him. I think they're knocking on his door at 6 o'clock in the morning or something. I don't know. Thank you, Matt. That'd be cool.
We had Derek Spitzer check in over on Facebook with us. So
that's
Derek,
right.
Thanks for coming on. Rachel Elmore was joining us as well.
Hello, Rachel.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions for Brandon, for our guest, make sure you throw them into the chat, either on Facebook or on YouTube. We can see them all in one place over here. So make sure you throw those in there. Hey, you found a blacksmith hammer. And you know what? Did you positively ID that as a blacksmith hammer?
So, okay. Well, I found several. So you're talking about just the hammer head or the full
with the tang and everything?
Okay. Yeah. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, I did some, maybe I posted on ID.me or had some, but I could be wrong, but as far as I know, people say, oh, it's an artillery hammer, but I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, I was wondering because Tony found one very similar. He was in a Civil War camp, a Civil War era camp, pre-Civil War era camp, actually, and found evidence of artillery there and found an artillery hammer, and it looked very similar. A very cool piece, man.
And it very well may be. Like I never try to get on there if people correct me or people who know more than I do. Yeah. Like I'm not going to say, well, that's not right because that's not because I'm not an expert. I'm very open to people and I try to, research and look into it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to mislead anybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was cool. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh man, that's really cool. Because I just haven't seen too many of them found out there. And I know people have, but boy, as soon as Tony posted it, like, what is this? Who knew? You were digging with Zach, right, Tony?
Yeah.
Or Garrett. Yeah. They knew what it was right away.
Garrett knew it immediately, and then we looked it up, and sure enough, it kind of has a chisel bottom or chisel part of the handle.
Yeah.
And he knew right away. And as soon as he said it, I looked it up. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, and that's great. Hey, thank you for letting me know. So I'm actually in the process. So, I've done electrolysis on it, and I'm going to a lot of things I don't polish up and clean up, but I'm thinking about kind of just restoring this and kind of shining it up just because I have several of examples and, but I'm almost thinking about putting it in my tool bag and taking it to work.
Oh man!
Not really. I'm joking. Don't freak out, people. Don't freak out. I'm joking.
It'd be kind of cool though to be able to use something like that. I mean, just
for sure.
Talk about having a connection to history. I mean, that's
like what's Brandon using over there? What's that rusty piece of junk you got?
He's old school over there. Look at that, man.
Yeah, this guy he's struggling. He can't afford a regular hammer from Home Depot or whatever, and so he got to resort to whatever this is. So.
That's funny. You could come up with a story that your great 3 times removed grandfather used this hammer and built this country back in the 1860s. Oh man, you could run with that.
Yes.
Buckle Boy said those hammers had many applications, so it's no wonder why they ended up in camps. But he himself he's not clear about the differences between an artillery hammer and a blacksmith hammer. And absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, no, that guy, listen, I know you're listening, Buckle Boy, but that guy is so, I can't wait till his book comes out, and I cannot wait. He's awesome. But like, so I actually found that hammer in the middle of the military road that the engineers cut through while they were making their way back to Little Rock. So it was in the middle of the military road, several miles north of the battlefield of Jenkins Ferry. But I was just like, how hasn't this been found before? I mean, it sounded like a horseshoe or artillery shell. Of course, I'm going to dig it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So, but anyway, yes.
Yeah, very cool. I was looking over, I wanted to catch up on a lot of the pictures you post, because I see them when you post them. But to talk to you tonight, I kind of wanted to go through a bunch of them.
Sure.
Tell us a story of these razor blades, man.
Okay.
I think that's a cool little story.
Yeah.
Razor blades, man.
Okay. That's quite comical. Yeah. So I'm restoring a house. So my neighbors, who I do a lot of work for, they own a lot of historical properties and a lot of properties in town. So they're making this into an Airbnb in downtown Benton. And so anyway, so when we kind of tore open the wall opposite of the bathroom, all these razor blades are in there. And I'm, and I've known through doing this kind of stuff that's why they were in there and all that. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try to educate people a little bit. And, so I take a picture and actually because I have insomnia, by the way. So that's one of the reasons why I'm able to get out, do work early, get up and do some little bit of treasure hunting, spend time with family. It's because I only sleep like 3 hours a night. A night. But anyway, so I counted the razor blades and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to, and I did a Facebook reel too, kind of explaining why they put the razors in the cabinet, little slot and all that stuff. But so I lined them up on my arm and people like, yes. Oh my gosh. Here's the deal. Listen, what people don't know is underneath all those razor blades, and I don't try to defend myself and all these comments and stuff, but however, I have painter's tape underneath most of those except for the last ones. But not only that, they're dull, they're rusty, I didn't once get cut, nothing happened to me or whatever. But yes, I was just showing just an example, like this is how many, which I found more than that, like a lot more, like stacked up a foot high. And that was only just a small pile. But yes.
Yeah, I thought that was an impressive picture. I was like, man, that is a lot. And if you're not into remodeling places, you would have never have seen that ever. But like you're like, yeah, that's kind of common. It's common for certain eras and stuff.
Well, I know, but as much as I love history, I mean, just when I open that up, I see those, and to me, that's like a gold coin. Like it's just like that's history I can share with people that they may not know about. But then again, you get the comments that are like, yeah, I just don't even
one little nick of those things, and right.
Anyway. What a cool find. I mean, and nobody would know unless you ended up tearing that place, tearing the wall out, and they just went down in between the studs.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, and by the way, if there's anybody that makes those little, somebody were saying, or a lot of people were saying, we'll make a Damascus blade out of it. So if there's anybody watching that wants me to send the blades to them so they can make a cool knife out of it or whatever,
hit you up, huh?
I'll send it to them, no charge, whatever.
Very cool.
Anyway,
if I would have saw that slot in that back splash of that, it would have bugged me. I would have been like, what is that for?
Right, why is that there?
That would have bugged me. I would have lost sleep over, like, what was that slot for? And now I know, because of Brandon.
That's what I just said. I never knew what that slot was for. Amazing. And now thinking back, I mean, the house that I grew up in, it was built in the I think the 40s or the 50s, still had the original mirror or medicine cabinet. It had that slot in there. Never knew that.
Yeah.
I know. Well, something that small, I mean, you see it, you don't even really think twice about it. I mean, it's like, it doesn't phase you.
Yeah.
Until you open up the wall behind it and you're like, how did these get there? Well,
have you ever found anything?
You
ever found anything creepy doing your remodeling?
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Anything you can share?
Well, okay. So the same building that I found, like the old Victory, or rediscovered the old Victory Theater. So here's what's crazy is, so this is there's a basement, a first floor, and then the attic, or not the attic, but the third floor is where I found the theater. So there's a freight elevator that was installed in the early 1900s that I use to go up and down. So inside, and this was just recently, so there's a little motor up top that pulls a freight elevator anyway. So the chain has to fall as you go up in this box, so it doesn't fall and hit you in the head. So inside this box was this child's mannequin arm with no fingers. And I made kind of a humorous post about it or whatever. Yes. So that, and so that was kind of creepy. But I mean, I don't know if that's really creepy, and I can't really think of anything. I know I found some creepy stuff, but I just can't think of anything right off the top of my head.
That's pretty creepy.
Anything with old child dolls or porcelain dolls, it seems like people have this creepy thing about it. A lot of mudlarking videos of finding arms, or the heads or the faces.
Yes. One thing I can think of is, and I wish I would have taken a picture of it. So at one of the same spots where Brandon Nicholas with Adventure Archaeology has dug before, I was digging with some friends, and we had found some. One guy had found some teeth or dentures from early 1900s or whatever, but also a glass eye. That was wild.
Ooh, that is wild.
So you're digging through the dirt, and all of a sudden there's like,
yeah. I mean, do I want to dig anymore? What's it attached to?
Yeah. That was pretty
good
wild.
thing it still wasn't in a skull, huh?
Yes. Yeah. Fortunately, I've never run across one of those, but yeah. So.
Oof. Yeah. Copper Joe was saying a friend and he was remodeling a house, and a bat came out and landed on his hat. I've had experiences with bats too up in attics.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. So okay. So while remodeling, yes. So actually, there was a house that my friend Joe and I restored just not far from here in downtown Benton. It was built in 1885, and in the attic there were thousands. When I say thousands, there were thousands of bats. There was actually a news segment done several years before he ended up with the house, and we remodeled it. But as we were remodeling the house, there were bats. You have no idea. It was unbelievable. Thousands of bats. And then when they tried to fog it or do whatever to get, or some safe way to get the bats out of the house, they were crawling out the vents underneath the floor and out the little vents up on top. Oh, it was insane.
That doesn't sound fun. I don't know about that one.
Yikes. We were in an attic. We had a bunch of bats come out at us, and a guy I was working with picked up a piece of a steel stud, a piece of a like a 3 and 5 stud, and he started swinging it, trying to hit these bats to keep them away from him. And he wasn't going to hit them, you know what I mean? Like, they were too quick for him. But I said, that's just going to make him mad. I don't know if I would be doing that. But he almost fell through the ceiling, because we were up there walking on the ceiling studs with lath and plaster below the ceiling. So he almost put his foot right through the lath and plaster down below, because he was concentrating on trying to swoop those bats out of there. Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, they're basically the ones that were there. I mean, they're sort of harmless, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of spooky though, just the thought of it. So.
Yeah, they have that. They carry that, thing about them that most people think they're, creepy or whatever.
Yes.
That's cool. I also saw that you were you tell me how you're connected with it too, but you guys do an event down there near you. It's called the Treasure Fest, right? Kadoha Treasure Fest. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So this will be our 7th one.
Wow.
It'll be October 11th through the 13th. The meet and greet will be on the 11th. And so that's in Murfreesboro, Arkansas. And so on the Facebook page, it's the best way to like get updated information is on the Kadoha Treasure Fest Facebook page. And so we struggled at first, but there's like, there's no handbook. There's nothing that you can go by to make especially a seated hunt successful. But we've worked over time to make this thing better and better each time. And I've conferred with many different people who've put it on seated hunts, and I've gotten a lot of information and help and guidance. And so, but we feel like this one's going to be, and by the way, there's going to be, I don't mean to jump the gun here, but there's going to be some incredible stuff happen there that people don't even, that nobody knows about. This they won't know until Sunday at the end of the day. That's pretty cool that we're going to share. But yeah, so it's going to be bigger and better than ever. And I haven't even announced some of our special guests and different things like that are going to be there. That's coming up soon.
Yeah, it looks you got all the manufacturers supporting it.
Yes.
Looks like I said, it's your 7th one, and you think by 7 you definitely probably have a lot of the stuff ironed out, and
we hope
there's some cash prizes I see, and some cool 100 acres of fields. What else is going on? You got Friday night karaoke. I'm sitting here reading off your flyer.
We got Friday night karaoke. So we kind of had a food disaster last time, like on Saturday, because some of our food trucks or people we had lined up weren't able to make it, and so that was kind of a disaster. So we're going to have several food trucks there, and but yeah, so karaoke on Friday night, and we're going to do some giveaways, and yeah, so that'll be a fun time. Everybody seemed to enjoy it a lot last year. So
that's October 11th through the 13th, 2024 in Murfreesboro, Arkansas at the Kadoha Indian Village off Kadoha Road. Excellent. Yeah, that's cool. Events are cool. I know that we're not going to have ours this year. We've been having our Rush to the Rockies one here in Colorado. For 24 years, and we took some time off during COVID and then got back to it here a couple of years ago. But yeah, we decided we actually missed the opportunity to get the spot where we usually have it this year. So we got kind of edged out on that. So instead of rushing to try to find another spot and maybe having problems with that, we just decided to skip it this year, and we'll do it again next year for sure. But best of luck to you on that. How many organizers, how many people do you have helping you organize this?
That's a good question.
Many? Not many?
Okay. Yeah. No. So, So my partner, Sam Johnson, who owns the Kadoha Indian Village there in Murfreesboro, he's a huge help. He and his employees, but so most of the time in the past, I take on most of the responsibility of organizing. I don't want to. I'm trying to be careful with what I say. So they are a great help. They do a wonderful job. They take all the money. They send out the tickets. They do everything else. But I hate to reach out to people and ask for help, so I try to take as much on as I can myself. However, this year will be a little different and less stressful for me, because most people, when they come to hunt, they see me and I'm like totally stressed out, and they're like, "What is wrong with this guy? Is he okay? Like, what's he, But fortunately, the city of Murfreesboro tourism is going to help us with a lot of different things, like helping put the targets out and getting things set up and provide the tents. But that people don't understand the cost that goes into doing all these things. But that's going to help because it's not going to take away from what we put into the hunt, the prizes, the silver, because we're really doing a lot on the silver this year. But yes, so that's going to be a huge, and I do have help. This year is going to be much different. I mean, we're really pulling together, and people are helping me. I have a lot of guidance, and I'm going to have more help. So I feel like this is going to be the best one yet.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're getting some help and people lending you a hand, because Tony and I do know what it takes to put on a hunt like that. Boy, there's a lot of moving parts, and we're lucky enough that we have about, I don't know, we have a board of committee of about 10 to 12 people that help take different aspects of the hunt and help put it on. And one big ringleader that kind of keeps us all on task. So
yeah, and that's something we're going to look into, especially after this hunt, that we want to make sure, because, so just for instance, like any of our expenses that are spent on the hunt, the things we buy, different things like that, we have a record of everything, receipts of any money spent and all that stuff. And so anyways, but what we want to have is a board of people that are members that can help organize. And so there are a lot of people that are aware of where the funds go and all this, just because it's tough when you have a seated hunt. Because here's the one thing I do know, that anybody that would go into has the mindset of going into a seated hunt and profiting off of it.
Right.
It's a disaster. You cannot have a successful seated hunt and profit off of it. You just can't. And so, and that's never been our mindset, because we all, Sam and I and our team, we love history. We just love to share. And but anyways, we just want to be transparent with everyone. So yes, we're gonna eventually develop like a board of of people to. Or members to help with the organizing and all that. So,
yeah. Well, I wish you a ton of luck for it. And, Tony and I always talk about how many different places we would love to get out and go, except for our jobs are always in the way. But someday we'd love to come out there and check out your event and come on out and hang out and see everyone out in that part of the country. But, like you see, there's a lot of people, right? There's a lot of events that go on these days. And, boy, we'd like to go all over the country. When we just got to hit the lotto, right? Like, we got to do something.
That's it. Simple fix. Just that.
That's it.
We'd love to have you guys out there.
Relics Radio on the road, man, and just go.
Man. That'd be great.
All these events.
Yes,
that'd be cool.
I know you've gone over some of the details, and Ken was reading from the flyer, but Copper Joe said, how much is it to enter? Do you have that number?
Yes. So we still have. I think after I have a few announcements here coming up soon, it'll probably sell out pretty quickly. But I don't know how many tickets we have left now. But yes, but the fee is it's $300 per ticket, and that covers. I mean, the meet and greet. I mean, you pay for your own meal. On Friday night, but on a lunch is included on Saturday, and that's of course the Sunday hunt. So basically you hunt for 2 days. And so children 12 and under are free, as long as somebody, a family member or a parent has purchased a ticket. Any of their children or grandchildren or whatever are free to 12 and under. No charge for them. And we encourage that, because we want going to make it a big deal this year. We're going to have our inflatables, and we're going to probably have some face painting, and we're really going to make it big for the children, because to us, that's like, and we haven't in the past. We failed because we've been so focused and stressed on getting everything right for the hunt. But we want to make it really good for the children this year, and we want to make an impact on them. And so,
absolutely,
yes. So $300. For both days, and that includes the meet and greet, and like I said, a lunch or a meal on Saturday, a free lunch on Saturday, and we'll have food trucks too. So
JP Hunts wants to know if you're going to put any damaged plates in the ground.
Hey, listen,
So he can go fix him.
He can go fix him.
Look, I know that you are, you know what? I need to start advertising your stuff more because you're the number one when it comes to repairing those things, and you've done an amazing job. Oh my gosh, unbelievable!
He's amazing. Yeah.
I love seeing full story.
So we're gonna have some big prizes. We're gonna have, I think, like 50. We're gonna have artillery shells and buckles, and just some really cool stuff, really collectible bottles and glass, anything. So, but yeah, I don't know. We may have some damaged plates. I don't know. Never know.
You should go set up a table, JP, just in case.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, can you replace? JP, can you repair that exploded Gallagher round I got?
He can.
I bet he could. I know. I'm teasing him, but
I'm sure
I bet
he can. Absolutely.
But I wouldn't want to, right? That it would lose its story at that point.
Right.
Very cool. Very cool.
I did want to say over on YouTube chat, I've been feeling guilty that we canceled our hunt this year out Rush to the Rockies. Full Metal Digger says, seems a bit suspicious that no sooner that I announce on Relics Radio that I'll be attending this year's Rush to the Rockies, they decide to cancel it. So I think we're just going to have it at Ken's backyard. Yeah. Let's just do that then.
But yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we can do that. Ohio Relic Hunter also said, what if the adults want to get their face painted? Can they do that, Brandon? Are they allowed?
Just for Bill.
Oh, that's going to be $350. I'm sorry, but
that's that extra $50 kicker.
I'm an artist, and so I can paint their faces, but it's going to be $50 minimum. So, just saying. I'm just kidding.
That's funny. That's funny.
We talked a little bit before the show and stuff. And I don't know how much you can say about it yet or not. So if you can't, we'll skip it. But you're doing this treasure fest and stuff, but you've got some irons in the fire for some other sort of events coming up in the future, right?
Yes. So I'm assuming you want me to elaborate a little bit on that.
Only what you can, or just kind of you send a teaser out there. I know there's nothing organized yet, right? Probably.
Sure. Yeah. So okay, so I haven't announced this. I thought about putting some feelers out on social media and things like that. So, what I plan on, and I'm in what am I trying to say here? I'm in the process of organizing and getting it established and getting it all put together, but I am working on creating the absolute largest relic, or I say treasure relic, Civil War relic, like mineral, crystal, diamond, you name it, show with some of the greatest vendors. I'm hoping to get all the manufacturers there, some influencers, celebrities, different things like there. But like the biggest show ever in the world, in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And number one in Hot Springs, well, it's convenient for me because it's like 20 minutes away. It's a convention center there, and it'll be outside the convention center, but it's it's a tourist town, lots of history. I mean, that's I think an hour or 45 minutes or whatever away from Treasure Fest, where it's going to be in Murfreesboro, but also in Murfreesboro, it's the only public diamond mine in the world where you can go out and search for diamonds and keep what you find. And I know some of the absolute most magnificent people who found the most diamonds there. Anyways, but it's the crystal collectors. And we have some of the greatest clear quartz in the world here in close to Hot Springs, or in Hot Springs, and but it is going to be absolutely amazing. And my friend Megs Brainerd actually and I are going to start working on this. We've been working on it. We're going to pursue it strongly here in the near future. But we're hoping for 2026. It may be 2027. It's just going to take a little bit to get everybody on board. But it is going to be the most, to me, I believe it, the most unbelievable show in the world.
Wow. Sounds really intriguing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
a lot of work. All those things up. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to draw a lot of people into that for sure from all over.
You guys have no idea. It's going to be wild.
When you get it going, you have an open invitation here to come on Relics Radio and chat about it.
Absolutely.
Get it all organized. I'm rooting 100%. For you.
Absolutely.
Keeping my eye out for that. You talked about courts. I know we talked about it before the show, but you talked about the courts you have there real close to you there in Arkansas. And I saw this piece come up on your Facebook page. And one more time, I just thought we should chat about this. It's so unique looking, and it's got that quartz running through it. What's the base stone? So what I'm showing is something that looks like a dagger. And it's actually made out of stone, and it's got a vein of quartz running through it, almost in a diagonal circular pattern almost.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I know, it's weird the way the veins run through that. So okay, I'm not an expert. I believe that's either a piece of I believe that's slate or shell. I believe it's slate. I think it's slate. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yes, so around here, like I said, I live on the first foothill, basically, of the Ouachita Mountains, and I don't know if you can see, like right here.
Oh yeah, hey, look at that!
You see this example here? So I found this right behind my house. It's not. Some of it's kind of crystal clear, but it's hard to see on the camera here. But we have found some that's absolutely beautiful. Very clear, almost like glass, and which I find a lot of Native American sites around here where they bring it in from the Hot Springs area. But yes, so there are lots of specimens like that. What you just showed within the Saline River, which is right behind my house. Well, actually, it's in front of my house and behind my house. But yes.
Do they have gold there? Can they find gold in Arkansas?
Okay, that's
I mean, in the rivers and stuff, natural.
As far as gold, I've heard of some being. Somebody may chime in, but I've heard of some maybe very small flakes or whatever you want to call it. I'm not a gold person, but being found in the Ouachita Mountains, and I know the Spaniards would come and they were trying to find gold there, in the 1500s and whatever. Which actually, I've actually discovered some of those mines where they've tried to dig. Anyway, long story, but yeah, I don't know for sure. I know there have been some pieces found, but it's not like Georgia or where you guys are at, or anything like that. So,
yeah, I just thought with all that quartz, a lot of times gold will run in quartz, and
right. You would think.
Yeah.
Yes,
if it's there, it would and stuff.
And it may be. I like I said, I don't want to mislead anybody. Somebody may know, which I know they know much more than I do, but that's all that I know about it anyway. So,
yeah. The one thing I wanted to chat with you about was you seem to find, and I'm always interested. I'll tell you what, Brandon, I'm out metal detecting. And I started realizing a good friend of ours, Beth, that was detecting with us, one of our hunting buddies, she started saying that some of this property we're on, she has found points on these properties. And as soon as she said that, my detecting at these areas completely changed, because my ears were going one way, but my eyes were going another way. Yeah. And sure enough, I started finding stuff. You have found some pretty cool Native American artifacts. Tell me about it. Tell me about how you got started with that. How do you find stuff like that? Wow.
Okay. So fortunately in Arkansas, so to me, people can argue this. I mean, that's fine. But to Arkansas, especially around the area where I live, starting kind of where I live and going kind of southwest towards Murfreesboro and down that way, I've found and I've discovered some of the greatest points ever. And of course, I live near Lonsdale, where it's like as far as I know, like I said, I don't want to mislead or miseducate anybody, is like the most famous like Novaculite mine. And a lot of the points that I find are Novaculite. And I mean, it's just like right down the road from my house. And they find in the hot springs as well. But so basically I get permission on these sites, and even out in front of my house, behind my house. So so basically what I'll do is I'll go and dig some test holes. When I say dig test holes, get a couple of shovelfuls and try to find where I can find, or discover the most amount of like little flakes, when they nap the points and things like that. And then I'll focus on that area, and it's legal. I'm not, digging on a mortuary side, or, I'm not going deep enough to do all that. Like, I'm just finding points. But yeah, so I try to find the highest point off the river that can't be flooded, I guess, at any point in time. And I start to do test holes there, and I concentrate on those areas. And I've found some, oh my gosh, I can't even, it's unbelievable, some of the points and things that I've found.
It is. I'll show a quick picture that you put on your Facebook page here real quick. This is some of the early stuff you said you found.
Ooh.
Yes.
Very nice.
Cool little tiny bird points, man. Those are really cool.
Wow, those are so cool.
Looks like you got some blades and some scrapers and just all
cool and so
stuff.
like
drill points.
So here's the deal. Like, I'm probably gonna kick myself in the butt for saying this, but like, so after Treasure Fest, so our sponsors, and my really, I'm just going to say sponsors, and people that come to Treasure Fest and really put a lot into it. So after every, so the Monday following after Treasure Fest, I do like a sponsor dig. So like this past year, like Butch Holcomb with American Digger, love you, Butch, and Miss Anita and Miss Debbie. Anyway, so, but like, all those folks, Gypsy Jules, Mark Hoover. I mean, they're just all these people that have poured into Treasure Fest. I take them on these digs, and like Gypsy, within 15 minutes, found 3 beautiful bird points, like just right off the bat.
Wow.
And, but it's amazing. Yeah. So, but I've got a new site now very close by my house. We're going to go to on Monday after Treasure Fest, and hopefully find some cool stuff there. So
had you always hunted Native American artifacts, or was it something you kind of came into?
Yeah. So that's how you can. Okay. Yeah. To answer your question, so how I got into metal detecting, treasure hunting, and doing all this stuff is back when I was younger. My great grandfather, Lester Cox. So his family homesteaded this place in Yall County. And so every year on Easter, I think it's Easter, they would have like what they call the decoration. So we go put flowers on the cemetery, on the graves and all that, or on the graves in the cemetery. So we would go and have lunch at their house or whatever, or his brother's house. And we would go back on the farm by the Fush-Lafay River and walk along this dirt road. And I found an arrowhead one time with him. He's like, look, let's go look for arrowheads. So when I found that first arrowhead, that's totally what turned me on. And I must have been maybe 10, 11 years old. But that's what turned me on to doing what I do. And and what's crazy, I don't know if you've seen the post or not that I've made about it. So he rode a wagon miles away to teach in K through 12 in a one-room schoolhouse in Jessieville, Arkansas. And with inside, I was given permission to go check in this in this one room schoolhouse. So I pulled back some paneling on this wall. Inside this wall, I found this chalkboard that has what we believe is my grandfather's handwriting on it.
Oh, no way.
That is from the we believe it's from the either 1920s or 30s, could be 40s, but he taught like late 20s, 30s. But I put that on my Facebook, and it blew my mind. And I still have that. The writing is still on there. I gave it to my father to keep in his shop, which is kind of like a small museum in there anyways. But oh my gosh.
How cool is that?
That is my absolute favorite find of all.
Sure.
Yeah, totally amazing. It gave me chills just now because
I know.
I'd love to do something like that. I'd love for something like that.
I forgot what it said, but it said Preston Ward. I forgot what it said. It's something about Preston Ward has something, and he is a good boy. And then, but Preston Ward, I've done a lot of research. He passed away years ago, but I was hoping to reach out and try to find his family, and I'm still trying to work on that. But anyways, it was oh my gosh. And just and listen, I'm going to tell you this right now real quick, and I don't want to get off track, but some of the recent things that I've had the opportunity to acquire and to have that I'm going to share at Treasure Fest is, you guys have no idea, and I'm so excited to share. And it's only going to be seen at Treasure Fest for the first time. It is like, I don't even know how, and I know God leads me to these things, but this, oh my gosh, you guys, I sound stupid right now, but I'm just telling you, it's unbelievable.
I want to make a trip down to Arkansas in October. I tell you,
that's not too far for us, man.
No. We can make a little trip.
Yeah, Preston Ward has a blackboard.
Yes,
and he is a good boy.
Yes, that's it. Can you put that picture up there?
I can, real quick. Yeah, I'll put it up real quick.
Yeah.
That is really, really cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just this old blackboard,
Preston
scratched
Ward.
on chalk. Preston
Oh my
Ward
gosh.
has a blackboard.
It has like on the top of it. It's maybe not on that picture, but it has like the alphabet, and then the numerical, and I mean 1 through 10 or whatever it is. I don't know to teach numbers, but and the animals on it. Anyways, it's just amazing.
Great piece.
Hey, we had some questions that came in on the chat.
Okay. Yeah, we're coming down to the end of the interview here tonight, so I want to hit some topics that were asked earlier. JP Hunts over on Facebook asked about geodes. We were talking about minerals and things like that. Any geodes out in Arkansas?
I don't.
But you know of.
I'm not. No, I don't believe so. I could be wrong. But I know that Sam, like my partner at the Indian Village, has a bunch. I mean, you can buy them and crack them open and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're in Arkansas. I truly don't. I wish I knew that.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you do find a geode, don't be swinging a hammer at it, because especially if you're in Arkansas, it's probably cannonball, and you might not want to be doing that.
Yeah, right. They found a Civil War geode. Yeah, you don't want to crack those open.
That happened to me. So I have a cousin that, from watching my Facebook page, knows I'm into metal detecting, but we're not that close. She's out in Missouri, and she sent me a message one time with a picture attached to it. And she said, my neighbor's son was out by the river and he found this geode. And it wasn't a geode. It was a cannonball with the stain for the fuse. You know what I mean? Like, you can see the fuse. And I was like,
oh,
that's
my God.
not. And so we were wondering if, he should crack this open or whatever. I go, look, hopefully you're joking with me. But I said, that is not a geode. And is there more of them? And he said, yeah. He said there's about 12 or 14 more down there. And I said,
oh my God,
I'll be there in about 8 hours.
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is, if you were to hit a solid, shot cannonball, I'm pretty sure the hammer would come back and just hit you.
That's all it would do.
You'd be screwed
you do
one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hey, Copper Joe wanted to know, have you ever found any copper artifacts in Arkansas, like Native American, prior to paleo, copper culture type stuff?
And Joe's up in Wisconsin, so he finds a lot of them up there.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So I would love to get, no, but I have not. So in East Arkansas, we have like the Park and Mound site where, I may butcher this, but like where Hernando de Soto, I think, again, I don't want to mislead or miseducate or whatever, where Hernando de Soto either got sick and fell ill and died, or but that may have been in Florida. I'm not sure. Anyways, but on that site, they have found copper, like pieces like Native Americans.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really know. I haven't found any myself. No.
Yeah, Joe checks in with us a lot. He finds quite a bit up in Wisconsin, and
yeah, I hear that.
That's really what he's looking for.
Yeah. Well, don't come here looking for it. You'll be very disappointed.
Yep. Full Metal Digger said that the Ouachita Mountains stretching across western Arkansas and southeastern Oklahoma are gold panner's paradise.
Yeah, so that would be that. The pronunciation would be the Ouachita or Ouachita, and
Oh, is that how you say it? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. If I were to read it, I would have said the OU cheetah, and that's what most people will say. So I'm trying to look here, stretching across western. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's good to know. I mean, I have not. I'm not a panner myself. I don't search for gold, but I'd love to know more about it though, for sure, because I have access to a lot of different places, in that area.
Yeah. Hey, you know what I heard, Brandon? I heard something about you.
Oh, mercy. Hey, can we go ahead and just end this right now?
Oh, no. We're almost there. Hang in there.
I heard from somebody told me this, but you're actually really good friends with Carl Childers. Do you have his number? Could you give him a call real quick and get him on the phone?
Well, I reckon what you'd want to know what I'm doing here. Well, these folks on this here podcast was wanting me to talk about some of them treasures and whatnot I found, and well, I guess if they give me some potted meat and mustard and biscuits, I reckon I'd tell them a little bit more. Well, I reckon that's about it. All right, then.
All right, Carl. Thanks for showing up here, buddy.
Oh, my God.
That is absolutely brilliant, Brandon.
Oh, I've got some other stuff coming with that, too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Dude, I loved all your stuff with old Carl.
Oh, man.
I could listen to him all day. How hard is that to do? Does that strain you a bit? Or no, is it just roll?
No. It
it's
really
natural.
Doesn't. Yeah, no, yeah. I think when I first started doing it did, but now, I mean, it's just, I've kind of learned to do it where it doesn't really bother me. But
yeah, well, thank you for that. That was perfect. Well, cool. We are towards the end of our podcast here. It's been an hour and a half already. Can you believe that? Ooh. My gosh. Yeah, so check down below. We've got links to, you want to talk about your group real quick? You got Arkansas History Unearthed.
Yes.
So that's a Facebook group, right, that you have?
Yes. I started, I think, in 2016, maybe. I can't remember exactly when it was, but yeah, it was 2016, I think. But yeah, so and it's grown now to over 30,000 followers, but I do share some things on there, but it's just a great and people share things from all over that they found, but I try to keep it focused on like Arkansas History Unearthed, but I mean, it's open to anybody that wants to share things that they found, so.
Yeah. Well, cool. Everyone check it out. We got the links right down below to that. We got the links to the Kadoha Treasure Fest going on October 11th through the 12th. And you head on over there and check out all the stuff that Brandon's posting on Arkansas History Unearthed. And if you're interested in the Treasure Fest, get a hold of Brandon, and he'll be sure to, through that Facebook page, he'll be sure to answer your questions.
Absolutely.
what's up next for you, man? Like, I'll give you a second to say your goodbyes and tell us kind of where you headed to next. And it was great having you on, and then we'll put you in the green room, and then Tony and I will say our goodbyes off the air if you're okay with that.
Yeah, no, yeah. Again, I'm honored. It's been awesome. I've got a lot of things, really cool stuff coming up. Some things I can't, talk about. It very exciting things coming up, but yeah, it won't be long, and you'll be seeing those things. But like I said, Riley and I have some really cool stuff coming up soon within the next couple months. Yes, love for anybody that wants to come out to Treasure Fest. We'd love to have you there. If you haven't been before, be sure and check out the Kadoha Treasure Fest Facebook page. And again, I'm honored. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
And hang out in the green room. We'll be right with you in just a second. We'll close the show down. Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Man, he's always awesome. I really like Brandon a lot.
Wow.
I wish we could get out to Arkansas. Yeah, it just goes like that. Just bang. No, just
unbelievable.
Crazy.
Yep.
Well, excellent, man. Well, let's get out of here. It's 7:30. Another great show, another great guest. I'll tell you what. Join us next Thursday. We got another one lined up. It's going to be another good Thursday. And let us know what you're thinking about this live stream. We started live streaming here on Tony's YouTube channel and on the Relics Radio Facebook group. Let us know how you're liking that. This is kind of little change up because Spreaker is doing away with their live features. So we decided to start doing this. Let us know what you're thinking. What do you got going on, Tony? I think we're going to take a break this weekend, aren't we?
Yeah, weekend off. Lots on the honeydew list has definitely increased because we've been digging every weekend. So take the weekend off, even though we're going to have good weather. But stay at home, take care of the personal lives a little bit, and then I think maybe next weekend after that or something, we'll make some big trips and get things found. So if you guys are interested in what I'm up to, come on over to, or you can see it right here on my YouTube channel or the Facebook. Just type in 5280 Adventures. You can find me over there, and got videos coming out all the time, as well as shorts from our detecting trips, shorts from Relics Radio, just a whole bunch of stuff going on there. So join me over there. I appreciate all of the support, and leave me a comment. I'd love to talk with you guys. So join me over there.
Yep. You're doing a great job with that, Tony, too. That's awesome. You're documenting a lot of our hunts together. So if you guys want to check that out, head on over to Tony's channel or look further down here in Tony's channel. And yeah, you can find me on my channel over at Adventures in Dirt, where every Sunday I bring you the weekly dirt. It's a compilation video of what you're digging out there, other metal detectors, people across the metal detecting community, and what they're finding. It's always cool to see what somebody in Texas is finding versus somebody in Italy is finding versus somebody, in Florida is finding. So always make sure that you come check me out every Sunday on the Adventures in Dirt YouTube channel, and then all other social media platforms. You can find me at Adventures in Dirt. Everyone, have yourself a great week. If you get out and dig, go get the good stuff and tell us about it. We'll see you next Thursday.
Thank you so much for listening to Relics Radio. We will see you back here next week for another exciting guest. Until then, get out and dig it all.